Now, yesterday's 3-2 victory over Nottingham Forest was an important, crucial and vital 3 points for David Moyes' side to pick up in the quest to regain some form in the Premier League. Now, on the 63rd minute, when we were 2-1 down, staring down the barrel of our fourth successive Premier League defeat, many fans were fearing the worst for David Moyes. However, we managed to turn things around. It's fine margins, isn't it? We were stooping down at that stage to about around 14th or 15th in the Premier League table. But a goal 2 minutes later from Jarrod Bowen and a winner late on 2 minutes from time from Thomas Souček has catapulted West Ham United up into ninth position, solidly in the top half of the table. Chelsea managed to get a point off of Manchester City in a truly special game at the Bridge yesterday evening, which resulted in them now 10th, a point off of David Moyes' Hammers. So solidly we are in the top half of the table. So if that wouldn't have happened, and the fine margin that I'm going to discuss in this video, it's the difference. We're now 9th, but we could have been 15th. We could have had a fourth successive Premier League defeat, or as we do have a bit of confidence going in to the last international break of 2023. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. Hope you are all well. This is the Monday morning chat, bringing you a little bit of gossip, a little bit of food for thought ahead of the working week. I hope you are well. I haven't got a drink today. I can't be able to walk downstairs and get one, so it is what it is. So in this video, I'm going to discuss the fine margins of winning yesterday and how crucial that was. And towards the end of the show, I'm going to discuss whether these performances and results and luck is sustainable for West Ham. Can we continue playing this poorly and winning games? However, some would argue we're not playing that poorly as we're sat 12 games in the top half of the table. It's been a really bizarre start to the season, hasn't it? It's ebbed and flowed so much. Whereas, you know, after the Sheffield United game, or even just the first 3 games after the Brighton game where we were sat top of the league, let's take that as an example. We got a point off of Bournemouth. We've beaten Chelsea. We've beaten Brighton. Many fans didn't expect us to be anywhere near that position at the end of August. Beating Luton, you can add into that as well. Expected defeats against Man City and Liverpool, and getting the win against Sheffield United, and then a decent point, I thought, against Sheffield United, and at that, a decent win against Sheffield United, and at that point we were all happy. We were like, wow, this is going well, and that was at the end of September. And it all sort of unravelled from that moment on after that international break, didn't it? With a devastating 4-1 defeat away from home at Aston Villa. And then a really, really poor, lacklustre performance at home to Everton, which was completely unacceptable just a week later. Left us up to date with last weekend, where, again, we lost to Brentford. And all of a sudden, it put a lot of pressure and a lot of purpose and impetus on this game today, where we needed to win. Because, as I said, we didn't want to lose yet another Premier League game before an international break, because that would have been quite damning for David Moyes, and he would have had to dwell over that for a week without being able to do anything about it. So that's how crucial it was, I think, for the fan base, for Moyes, and for those players to get a result yesterday. It was so crucial. And, you know, the performance is slightly irrelevant in those sort of games, because I think the points were imperative, you know, as they always are in a one-off football match. Of course, we want to see the performances. We'll talk about the performance a little bit later, but let's deal with the result first, which was vitally important. And with 27 minutes to go at 2-1 down, I didn't think we'd turn it around and win 3-2, because that second goal from Nottingham Forest was coming for quite a while, wasn't it? Pretty much since the start of the second half. I just sort of knew they were going to score another one, because they deserved it. They deserved it, Nottingham Forest. They were really clinical on the counter-attack and dangerous, and we didn't have an answer to it, and they deserved to be leading at that stage. And our quality then did shine through with Jarrod Bowen scoring, and then eventually a set-piece goal. You know, it felt like we put about 15 corners into the box without really getting a proper attempt at goal. And, you know, the last one brought a goal, which was very good and much needed, of course, through courtesy of Thomas Souček, who I actually thought we should have taken off about 30 minutes before he did get the winner for West Ham. So look, it's the fine margins of it. The Premier League table is incredibly tight at the moment, and just one result can dictate probably a whole fan base's feelings going into a 1 week break. Sitting 9th and sitting 15th is a flipping difference, isn't it? You know, and there seems to be some more smiles around the fan base. Yes, there's some discrepancies about the performance. We'll deal with that later. But just talking about the result, it was so important today to get that result. And I'm just so relieved that we did yesterday, because it was much needed for Moyes and for everybody involved. But the performance is another matter, really, isn't it? Because we scored early on, and I'm like, right, finally, this is a perfect opportunity against a side that we got down with a 1-0 lead. We put them on the floor. Let's finish them off now. Let's go and really punish a side, which we haven't done really so far this season. Yeah, maybe if Paqueta is a little bit more clinical in that 3-on-1 counter-attack that we had, where the ball was sort of just stuck behind him, if he plays it through to, I think it was Ward-Prowse, or if he gets a better shot off and we score there, it's 2-0, it might have been a different case, and we might have went on to score another couple more and win easily. But that didn't happen. And the fact and reality of it is that we sat back and we invited the pressure, as we always do. It's the same old story, rinse and repeat every week. If we score early, we're going to sit back, we're going to contain the pressure, and the same thing happens pretty much every single time we do it. We concede either just before or just after half time, and we're on the back foot, which we were. We were on the back foot for most of that first half, and then the first bit of that second half, really before we had to kick up the backside after Nottingham Forest scored, for then Bowen to go up the other end just 128 seconds later or something, and go and get that goal. And that really got us going again, and it got a bit of impetus back in that starting lineup, because we looked a little bit more energized, and we just, everything fell into place a little bit better. But we're not going to do that every week. Better sides will punish us. So that's where the issue of sustainability of these performances and results come into the limelight here, because I didn't think we were great for a vast majority of that match today. Yeah, it was better than the Everton game a couple of weeks ago, 100%. I've got no qualms, no doubt about that. But um, but the sort of baseline shouldn't be that Everton game, should it? Because that was absolutely diabolical, and we've got to continue. And with these players, it's just, you could see the increasing frustration within the stadium, and with West Ham fans as that second goal went in, because we've got so much quality in that team, the best quality-wise team we've had in such a long time. And yes, it sort of bailed us out today, because we had some brilliant yesterday, because of some individual brilliance in there. Yes, it was a defensive mistake for the first Forest goal, but it was still a really, really good finish from Lucas Paqueta. And then just that little bit of attacking edge and attacking quality from West Ham probably got the result against this Nottingham Forest side, who are not great away from home. They've that's been proved over their last season. They've been in the Premier League. Yeah, they've picked up some results. This season they picked up a point at Palace. They beat Chelsea away so far this season, but they're a better side at home. That's the reality of it. They're a better side at home than they are away, and losing this game would have been awful. It would have been awful for West Ham, and really it was not an option. To lose this game was out of the window. We just simply couldn't. It was non-negotiable. And then sat there at 2-1, I was really, really worrying. But I didn't have to worry for long, did I? Because we leveled things up, and there seemed to be, from that moment on, from when Bowen scored to when Souček scored, for me, there was a sense of inevitability that we were going to score again. I wasn't really that nervous in the last sort of 80, 85 minutes. I wasn't nervous. I always just thought, yeah, we're going to score. Come on, we are going to score. There's another goal in this game, and we're going to score it. And for once, I was actually proven right, and we managed to get the job done in the end, which was really, really good. Listen, Moyes isn't going to change. This is the way Moyes plays. And whether these performances are sustainable is another matter. But we now go into a run of winnable games, which I'm going to make a video about next week in the international break, sort of dissecting what we've got coming up. Burnley away, Crystal Palace home. All right, Tottenham away, put that to the side. Then you've got Fulham, and then Wolves, and then Manchester United at home just before Christmas. So that's all of our games in the run up to Christmas. There's a Carabao Cup and a couple of Europe games in there, sandwiched in between those as well. But in terms of the Premier League, really, if we want to be in that top half of the table, we should be beating Burnley away, who are going into the international break at the bottom of the Premier League. At home, we should be beating Crystal Palace. Tottenham, put it to the side. And then you've got Fulham away, which I take a point if you're going to give it to me now. And then Wolves at home, we should be winning that one. So, look, I think we've had a really tricky run of fixtures at the start of the season. We've already played Chelsea, Brighton, Man City, Liverpool, Newcastle, Villa, Brentford. That's 7 decent sides who were near the top of the Premier League table last season. So, with this run of winnable games coming up, I say winnable if we're going to go out there and perform to a level that we are expected to, then we should win these football matches. And that's where just I think, I can't stress enough how much I think yesterday's win was so important, because it gives us that little bit of a platform now to not be looking behind us and seeing what's behind us, but in fact looking in front of us now. And that's how this season has ebbed and flowed so much, honestly. Like, we've been at the top, brilliant top of the league. We've been all blimmin' out. There's been chaos, after the Everton and Villa game. There's been a lot of negativity, and there still is a lot of negativity around about the style of football and how at the end of the day it is going to run out and we're going to go on a run of really not very good games, which you could argue we've had in Everton, Villa and Brentford. But there's the argument that we aren't gonna get to where we want to be with David Moyes as manager, where I'm inclined to agree with it. Has Moyes taken us as far as he can? Probably, yes. But they're not going to sack him at the end of the day. So we're stuck with him until the end of the season. I think he will leave at the end of the season unless we win the Europa League, which I don't think we will, to be honest with you. But if we will, happy days. But no, putting that to the side, just in terms of the Premier League, I think he's here until the end of the season unless we go on a drastic run of defeats, which I don't think we're going to. We are going to huff and puff along and pick up results. It's not going to be pretty. Is it sustainable? No. But are we going to carry on, and will we pick up results? Yes. And it's just, I think it's just about how often we're going to pick up these results, and how often these players can, because we're playing a low block, negative style of football with some real talent in there, and it's shone through over the last couple of weeks. Well, we've been really poor as a unit, as a team. Players like Bowen and Kudus and Paqueta have shone through and given us that quality and goals, at the end of the day, that we've needed to pick up results, especially yesterday. So yeah, I think we're stuck between a rock and a hard place currently, because we keep getting results. Well, I say, we were staring down the barrel of 4 successive Premier League defeats, but we are getting results, and I think we will continue to get results with the run of fixtures we have ahead of us, barring a major decrease in form, because I think we can beat these sides coming up. That's not me being big-headed, but I've just got confidence in these attacking players like Bowen, like Kudus, like Paqueta, that they've got enough quality to break down these sides and score goals. And if we can shore up with Kurt Zouma, who I didn't think was brilliant yesterday, I think he's still a little bit injured. I don't think he was 100% fit by any means. But if we can, realistically, if we can shore up those defensive mistakes that cost us at Villa, that cost us against Brentford, and we can continue to score goals, then we're going to continue to pick up results. And that's the bottom line. So look, it's an interesting debate. I'm going to have more videos coming discussing the whole situation in this international break. We've now got a week off of West Ham before we take the trip out to Turf Moor to take on bottom of the league Burnley on the 25th of November. An interesting time, a stressful time to be a West Ham fan. Put your thoughts into the comment section down below. What do you think of what's going on, Moyes, and any other thoughts about West Ham? Put that down in the comment section down below. Drop a like, subscribe, become a member as well if you'd like. And until the next one, have a great Monday, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.